Hello, my dear friends. It's 6:10 in my watch, and I'm supposed to go home. But before I get out of this office to go home, let me offer you my short reflection, maybe a point of reflection to wind up the day and to serve us also as a form of debriefing. I'm now trying to debrief myself of the heavy work that I did today, and I'm trying to debrief myself out of the stress that I encountered for the day. And I found it that it is very beneficial, especially at the end of the day, if there we could devote a few minutes of our time for self-reflection, because it helps me bring back myself to where I was before I started the day. That's why one of my favorite saying is that tomorrow will be another day. Why will it be another day? Because we have to end this day gracefully. We have to end this day in a positive way so that we will be able to start again tomorrow. And I want to focus myself. I want to focus on the topic of wanting to be understood. I think each and every one of us wants to be understood, and there are also moments in time then that we demand others to understand us, and we also feel the need to be able to understand also others. And my dear friends, we live in the contemporary world, and one of the most important characteristic of this contemporary world is globalization. That's why McLuhan said that we are now living in a global village, and we are getting nearer to each other day by day. And although we recognize the importance of having our own personal convictions and our belief, and we also recognize that others also have their own belief systems, they also have their own opinions and ideas, but we are confronted with the need to learn how to live with each other. And I think we need to understand each other. We need to be understood, and we need to understand in order to be able to live peacefully in this world. That's why the importance of dialogue comes to the fore, that we should always be willing to enter into dialogue. This is not only in the field of politics, economics, or religion, but in all kinds of dimensions that we live in society. I think it's important that we learn the skill of entering into a dialogue. So dialogue means communicating with each other, and communicating with each other does not only requires the ability to speak or the ability to bring your ideas to others, but this also carries with it the ability to assimilate and to understand and to synthesize what the other is saying. So it involves the skill of listening, the skill of also the skill also of empathy, meaning to say you also have to learn to put yourselves in the shoes of the other in order to be able to understand others better. And I think that that one of the most important criteria of dialogue is for us to possess authenticity. And what is authenticity? Sabi nga sa Tagalog, magpakatotoo ka. So kailangan nating magpakatotoo. I think this is the meaning of authenticity. Why am I saying the Tagalog term? Because I would like, for purposes of emphasis, and also to provide a more vernacular meaning to the word of understanding each other, then kailangan magpakatotoo tayo. We need to be able to show to others that we really believe what we believe, and that we have reason for believing so, and that we are committed to what we believe. Because if we enter into dialogue without this characteristic, I think it is impossible for a dialogue to happen. Because The main moral criteria for a dialogue is the moral authenticity, yung ating pagpapakatotoo. That pero yung pagpapakatotoo na yon, that authenticity doesn't mean that we have to build walls around ourselves. That authenticity means that we have to put some grounding on our feet, meaning to say there should be some sort of foundation for our selfhood, for our own self understanding. Because if we have this pure foundation and firm foundation, it will be easy for us to be open into dialogue and to fruitfully dialogue with each other. There's no need for all of us to be the same. What is needed for us is to be able to understand each other, to be able to communicate authentically, to be able to accept each other for what they are. Remember, my friends, we are not the judges. Who are we to judge others? But there's also an important for us to be able to understand each other, because if we have this authenticity within us, it will be easy for us to be able to lead others, to influence others to follow the correct or the right way as we perceive it, and as it is commonly or normatively perceived by everyone in society. Because without this authenticity, we become dictators, we become imposters, we become arrogant, and I think these are the things that are not palatable. These are not things that are not acceptable. So, my dear friends, do you want to be understood in the office environment where you work? Do you want your colleagues to understand you, to accept you? And we people who live in communities, do we want the members of our community to understand us? I think the main challenge is for us to be first to be authentic, and then second, openness, and third, empathy. These are the most important characteristics in order for us to be able to enter into a dialogue. And some of my students in the subject conflict resolution knows about they know this because I often talk to them about this. I often discuss this topic with them. And but for my friends who are not in my class, I think you will be able to understand, because these are just I'm just speaking from the layman's point of view, and I think I have bring myself across to you. So, my dear friends, it's time for me to go home, and thank you for joining me in this little debriefing. And I am always happy, and I'm always positive, and despite um, of things that transpired in our lives, we can always look up for tomorrow, because there will always be the sun tomorrow to rise up again. And even during rainy days, there will always be silver linings within the sky, within the clouds. So thank you, my friends. Have a nice day, have a nice evening, keep safe, and see you again tomorrow, God willing.